Hi, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me again. It looks like my connection was dropped. Oh, the struggles of NIKKI BANZ Live. I think I'm back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to NIKKI BANZ Live. My connection dropped. Okay, we've got Deepak back. Oh, no. I think I might have lost the whole rest of the interview, which would be literally tragic. But we're going to try it now and see. We're going to see if we can get Deepak back on the live. We have like 10 minutes left. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Deepak!
I think the internet spirits are jinxed today.
I think it was me this time. I think I was the one who had the bad internet and then it got wiped out. And now I'm like, oh no. Like, did the rest of our interview save, or is it now lost into the Instagram world? I don't know, but I'm keeping my fingers crossed that somehow Instagram has saved it for us.
Oh, wow. Yes. Even if it's not, I am very happy to do this all over again with you and for you. So no stress about that.
We might just have to do round two, Deepak. We might just have to do that. But there were so many questions in the chat. There was like literally like 15 questions in the chat for you right before we cut off. But you were about to turn the tables and ask me a question. And then that's right when my internet cut out. So now you can flip the script. Maybe I'm more prepared now.
Yes. And the question I have for you, Nicole, is in the gallery of life, are you the artist, the art, or the visitor? In the gallery of life, are you the art, the artist, or the visitor? And why?
Ooh, ooh.
I told you, 50 toughest question.
These are very tough questions. That's a tough question. Okay. I think that at this stage in my life, you know, and for me, I left, you know, a decade of working formally in the development sector with the UN, with US government, with civil society, and I sort of left that and I'm trying to transition, you know, into being an MC and a host and a facilitator, which is one of the whole reasons why I started this whole interview series, NIKKI BANZ Live. So I would say at this moment in life, I would like to think that I am the art. I would like to think that I'm the arts. Like, I want people to come in and watch and look and, you know, take something away from what, you know, from what they're seeing and what they put out there, or what I've put out there for them. So I think at this stage in my life, I would like to think I'm the art, but, you know, I don't know, give me like 5 years. Maybe I'll be the artist. Maybe I'll be the visitor.
I love the answer, and it's so honest. I guessed as much that you would say art, and people in the comments are saying you are the art. So I think you have a fan club here, you know, convincing you that you are the art. Thank you for answering that question and sharing, you know, your perspective.
Thank you for asking me that question. You know, I thought when I was going to have you on the live, I was like, you know, Deepak's probably going to ask me a question, or he's going to ask the audience a question. Somebody's going to get one of the 50 questions of life, you know.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And I know that there are some folks who are hopping back onto the chat now. So if you do have those questions, feel free to drop them in the chat again, or drop them in the question box. We have about 10 minutes left since our little, you know, interruption. But happy to still have Deepak on, you know, happy to have you here with us. I think one of the things that's just like so interesting, Deepak, as well, is that, you know, you just have such a just like dynamic, you know, group of people who support you and follow you, and you travel to so many amazing places all over the world. Is there like an upcoming like trip or destination, you know, once you know the world is like really reopening? Is there somewhere that you're really excited about?
Honestly, Nicole, the place I'm most looking forward to going is New Zealand, and internationally, and working with the Maori tribe in New Zealand. that's a culture I have been in appreciation of. I have read so much about it. I have friends there. I would like to investigate and, document a lot of learnings from the Maori culture. And within India, I mean, even now, as we get vaccinated, within India, I'm doing a lot of work in the mountains, here. So yeah, internationally, New Zealand, and in India, always excited to do any part.
That is so, so cool, Deepak. I myself have never traveled to New Zealand, so that sounds like such an interesting place. If anyone watching this right now is from New Zealand, connect with Deepak.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And we know you do so much like regional and domestic travel around India as well, which is just such a massive country. So very cool that seems like you've got both international and some domestic trips coming up soon. Okay, I see a couple questions popping back into the little question box feature now. There's one question here from _Mezclada that says, what are the sources of funds for the amazing work you do other than UNESCO? So whether it's Project Fuel or other projects, like who is supporting this, and how are they, where are you getting the funds from?
The funds. So there are a couple of ways. One is that we rely a lot on grants and a lot on collaborative organization support. The second is the methodology that we have at Project Fuel is often licensed and adopted by educational boards. So we are paid for our curriculums. And a lot of, support also comes from the speaking and
Yes, yes. And I think that's it's so important for people to know that there are actually so many different avenues, whether it's, big organizations funding, or from speaking engagements, or from various opportunities. I think that's quite cool, or even licensing from the educational boards. Very, very cool, Deepak. There are a couple other questions. I see one more question in the chat box. Although I think Deepak is frozen again, or maybe I'm frozen. Now I don't know. Is it my internet? Is it Deepak's internet? We've both been cut off. Welcome to the joys of doing a live show, party people. Like, people just get cut off. The internet does whatever it wants. We try. We just try. Okay, I think Deepak got cut off. We're almost there. Stick with us. About 5 minutes left. I'm going to invite Deepak to come back to answer some of those final questions that you had. Live shows. So good. So good. You just got to go with the flow.
I am now.
Hey,
I've started to enjoy this now.
I know. I'm like, every time I interview someone, I learn something new as a host, right? Like, okay, what do I do if the person shows up 15 minutes late? What do I do if something like this happens, right? Now I'm like, what do I do if the internet is so bad that both me and my guests keep getting kicked out of our own show?
I love this.
Like, be flexible, go with the flow. That's my life lesson from this interview today.
And also, that's the other thing I learned with lives, Nicole. My biggest takeaway was, don't sweat the small stuff, and all stuff is small stuff. As long as you and I are alive, we will do multiple lives and conversations together. And a lot of times we take a lot of pressure on ourselves to make it always perfect. But I think these interruptions also show so many people, you see, have joined back. That means they really cared about what we were talking about. And I see so many familiar names, whether it's Melanie or Leans or Mescalada and Kundan and all of these people from India that I probably have seen and known of. So thank you guys for sticking with us.
Yes, thank you so much. And I think, look, that's exactly what you're saying is so, so true. Like, we're still here, we're still breathing, we're still alive. We have so much to be grateful for as we sort of, internalize that mindset of kindness, and as we go forward. And it's like, you know what? We get kicked off by the internet. Oh, well.
Absolutely.
I saw one question in the chat, Deepak, that said, you know, what is the biggest desire that you're living with, and what is the relationship with your desire? That's quite an interesting question.
That's a very powerful question. I think the biggest desire I'm living with is to meet my highest potential. You know, Nicole, honestly, people think I'm doing a lot, but I don't think so. I think I'm doing just enough for a lot of stuff that I'm going to do. And my relationship with this desire is often that of fear and hope. Fear because I feel, oh my God, you know, there is so much work to be done. Can I really collect 7 billion life lessons in a single lifetime? I don't know the answers. Can I write all the poetry I want to? And the hope is that even if I get closest to it, I would be in peace. So that's my biggest desire, to meet my highest potential. And it keeps evolving. It keeps morphing into different roles as an educator, as an artist, as a poet. People say you do so many different things. But what I see it as is just one thing I want to do, but through different tools. And so I keep learning.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I love that message there. Just to keep learning, keep growing, keep being dynamic in all of the different ways that you want to achieve, you know, the things that you want. And I think for a lot of us out there, Deepak, what you're saying now resonates because, you know, even the people who, you know, on the outside, it seems like, wow, they're doing all of these things, so many interviews, so many podcasts, so many shows, so many things. And it's like, yeah, but we feel like we're just scratching the surface because there's so much that we want to give to the world and want to contribute to the world and collaborate with people. And I think that shedding light on that is really important.
And every person can define it for themselves. You know, that's the beauty of it. I mean, a lot of times I meet people at the airport, or at least I used to when you know, COVID wasn't the reality of our lives. And they would be like, I want to be like you. And I said, what is that? And they would say, oh, I want to travel the world and tell stories. And I say, how much do you talk at dinner table with your parents? Do you know what kind of value system they grew up with? What are their life lessons? And they say, oh, I don't know about that. Each person's life is their platform. I get to have Instagram or, you know, a certain kind of followership or an organization. You get to have this through the brand of NIKKI BANZ Live and all your hosting and your work. But what people often forget is that their life is the platform. Doesn't matter if it has 4 people in the audience or 40,000 or 4 million or 40 million or 400 million, like a Beyonce. We all are trying to know the same thing, which is, do we what we have to say matter to anyone? And how can we live our best lives? To my grandmother in the mountains, having water for the evening meal is success. For me, probably it is teaching 5,000 people in a classroom. And maybe for you, it is, you know, doing a television reality show or doing this beautiful conversational series. So we get to define what our benchmark and our definition of success seems like. And in this digital age, we compare it constantly. We'll see how many followers somebody has, more than what is our message, you know, with, okay, you know, sometimes people say, I would like to have 4 million followers. And I say, what do you have to say to 4 million followers? We'll figure it out when we have 4 million followers. That's the challenge. That's the challenge. You need to figure out the message first and then get to the audience.
Yes, yes. Deepak.
Oh, I love that, Nicole.
I had to give you a sound effect for that because you're really touching on, you know, these insecurities that people face with platforms like social media, like, oh, I don't have that many followers. Oh, who's really watching? But like you just said, it's not about the number of followers on social media. It's about how you define your own success and how you leverage your own platforms, whether they be social media platforms or your friend circles or your networks or your voice, to actually just be that change that you want to see in the world. And I think that's just such a special message for us to all reflect on here today. Because again, you know, social media has defined, you know, an influencer in a very specific kind of way. And the reality is that as we move through the world, we're influencing people every single day. The person who you sit next to on the bus the person that you go have a meal with. It's like we can influence in so many different ways. So how do you define that for yourself? Such a brilliant message for us to reflect on, Deepak.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, we have to learn to not be used by technology. We have to use it as we become more high definition and all of that. And more importantly, Nicole, I feel the world on the outside, you know how to switch on the television, you know how to turn off your screen time. What you don't know is how you will react if somebody sent you a nasty message, or if I just abused you on this live. You would not know how to react to that. Our inner worlds are a complex under construction site. There is a constant churn of the mortar of emotions. There is a constant darkness of feelings, of unknowns. If we can take time to investigate that, to implore that through our conversations with each other, or to listening to fantastic people like you, I think we will be far off more successful in our living than in our, making money off the living.
Oh my goodness. Deepak, I'm giving you a round of applause. I'm just like the wisdom that you have shared with us on this live is just really, really special. And I think you just have such a beautifully succinct way of sharing these thoughts and these things that you're thinking of. I mean, this is literally why you're an author, a poet, a lyricist. Like, you are a phenomenal storyteller. And I think the way that you just transfer information is really, really helpful. Like, I feel like I'm going to pull out, 50 different quotes. I'll be like the 50 different quotes of Deepak Ramola. That'll be my first book.
Thank you. As long as you're willing to share royalties on it, I think I'm very happy, Nicole. You can really do the hard work. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you. It's such an honor to have you as a friend and as a colleague and as a voice in the world.
Likewise, Deepak. I cannot thank you enough for coming on to this interview series, NIKKI BANZ Live. And to everybody who has tuned in, thank you for sticking with us despite the trials and tribulations of Wi-Fi challenges and data challenges. You all have been here with us, listening to us share our stories and share our wisdom. And really, that's what it's all about, right? Just sharing and seeing, how people take in that information and then apply it into the success, that they want to have in their lives. So Deepak, I know it's late for you, so we're going to love you and leave you so that you can get some rest.
And get some dinner. I think my parents are going to be watching me over dinner this evening. But yeah, thank you, Nicole.
Okay, well, you have to thank your parents for letting me steal you away for this hour. And I hope the dinner is just absolutely fantastic. Chef's kiss. I'm sure it's going to be delicious.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you to you and everybody who tuned in with their lovely comments and messages. So encouraging and so beautiful. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Nicole, to you.
Yes. Thank you, Deepak. Thank you, everybody. You have tuned in to NIKKI BANZ Live. We'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Take care. Bye.